There are some fast bowlers who are great, there are some who are feared, and then there was Wasim Akram. When people talk about swing bowling, his name comes to the top like it owns the place. Reverse swing, toe-crushing yorkers, late movement that made batters question their life choices. He mastered it all. But here's the scary part. This story isn't about Wasim at his peak. This is about an 18-year-old kid. 18. At that age, most fast bowlers are still figuring out how to land the ball on the pitch. But Wasim Akram was learning how to destroy Australia in Australia. Now, before we jump into the carnage, let's set the stage properly. Just before this Australian tour, Akram had picked up a 10-wicket haul against New Zealand in a test match. Pakistan lost that game, yes, but something far more important happened. The cricketing world noticed. There was this raw, left-arm fast bowler who could swing the ball both ways at serious pace. He wasn't polished yet. He wasn't a global name. However, there was an aura about him. The kind that makes commentators lean forward and speak in slightly lower tones. Still, let's be honest. You look at that Pakistan team and you see Imran Khan leading the attack. The king, the superstar, the man with the charisma. So the idea that an 18-year-old would walk into that dressing room and become Australia's worst nightmare, it sounds like a joke. And yet, that's exactly what happened. Because this wasn't some academy graduate groomed since childhood. Wasim Akram was a recent product of a Lahore cricket talent camp. In fact, just a month before this tournament, he didn't even own a proper pair of bowling boots. Now think about that for a second. No big sponsors, no hype, no long build-up. Just raw talent and an incredible ability to swing the cricket ball. And with that background, with that level of inexperience, he found himself on one of the biggest stages in world cricket. The setting was the 5th match of the Benson and Hedges World Championship of Cricket at the MCG. Australia won the toss and, confident as ever at home, chose to field first. Pakistan came out to bat and things started beautifully. Mohsin Khan and Mudassar Nazar put together a classy opening partnership of 141 runs in just 29 overs. The shots were clean, the running was sharp, and slowly but surely, Australia were made to chase the ball around the hot sun while Pakistan built a strong foundation. And by the time the innings ended, Pakistan had posted 262 on the board. A strong total, not impossible, but definitely challenging. And that's where things started to get interesting. Australia, after all, were at home. They had experienced batters, they had pride, they had the crowd behind them. And most importantly, they would have felt that if they could handle Imran Khan, the rest would fall into place. And then, this 18-year-old left-armer began marking his run-up. Wasim Akram was ready to bowl. First ball to Robbie Kerr. Akram charged in with that smooth, almost effortless run-up. Left arm high at release. And then boom. A fiery in-swinging yorker that curved late, like it had a mind of its own. Robbie Kerr looked frozen for a split second. His bat came down just a fraction too late, and the off-stump went flying out of the ground. Not nudged, not disturbed. It was uprooted. And just like that, destruction had officially started. The scoreboard showed 1 wicket down, and although it was only the first breakthrough, you could sense a slight shift in the Australian dressing room. Next in line was Kepler Wessels, a tough, experienced opener who wasn't known for giving his wicket away cheaply. Akram came in again, this time pitching it on a teasing good length. Wessels moved forward confidently to defend, but the ball had other ideas. It straightened and moved away just enough to beat the outside edge, and the off-stump was disturbed once more. 15 for 2. Now, the MCG wasn't loud, it was confused. The crowd was trying to process what they were witnessing. Then walked in Dean Jones, aggressive, stylish, and a hometown favourite. Wasim went slightly wider off the crease and delivered one outside off. Jones saw width and decided to attack. He threw his hands at it, aiming for a boundary through the offside. Instead, the ball caught the inside edge and crashed back into the stumps. And just like that, Wasim Akram had 3 wickets and Australia were 30 for 3. Now, it wasn't just a good spell, it was a collapse in motion. An 18-year-old was cutting through Australia's top order, and hardly anyone in the stadium could understand how it was happening so quickly. Now, it was Captain Alan Border's turn. Gritty, tough, a man who built his career on resilience and patience. Akram bowled slightly shorter. Border went onto the back foot and flicked it towards the leg side. It looked safe. The shot seemed under control and everything felt normal until the camera zoomed in on the stumps. Border had stepped on his stumps while completing the shot. In trying to regain his balance, he clipped the bail with his foot. Unfortunate for Border, absolute joy for Akram. Australia were 4 down now, and you could almost feel the Pakistani dressing room trying to contain their excitement, exchanging glances that said, "Is this really happening?" And then came Kim Hughes. The score was 42 for 4. Technically, there was still hope. One solid partnership, and Australia could steady the ship. Akram, however, was not in the mood for stability. He bent his back and delivered a sharp rising bouncer. The ball climbed awkwardly towards Hughes, who attempted to pull. The idea was positive, but the execution wasn't there. He looked slightly rushed, short of room as the ball climbed on him. The ball took the top edge and went high into the air, and Tahin Akash moved into position calmly to complete the catch without any drama. And just like that, it was done. 5 wickets. 5. And here's the crazy part. This wasn't some tidy cleanup of tailenders. These were the top 5 Australian batters. Wessels, Kerr, Jones, Border, Hughes, all gone in his first 6 overs. Australia were 42 for 5 and the match was practically finished before it even began. Bowling left arm over the wicket at lively medium fast pace, Wasim Akram swung the ball both ways with control that looked far beyond his ears. His lengths were sharp, his lines were tight, and his confidence stood out. There was no hesitation in his body language, no sign that this was his first tour of Australia. And by the end of his spell, he had figures of 5 for 21 in 8 overs, including a maiden. Those were the best bowling figures for Pakistan in one-day international history at the time. He surpassed Abdul Qadir's 5 for 44 against Sri Lanka at Leeds during the 1983 World Cup. Furthermore, it became the 3rd best ODI bowling performance by any bowler in Australia. Think about that. An 18-year-old apprentice to Imran Khan had just pulled rank on the Master and bowled Australia into submission in Melbourne. From there, the result felt inevitable. Pakistan went on to win by 62 runs. And although Imran remained the captain and the face of the attack, the spotlight that day belonged to the teenager from Lahore. And what makes it even more special is that this wasn't the finished version of Wasim Akram. This was raw material. This was the prototype. The reverse swing mastery, the World Cup heroics, the late career spells, all of that was still ahead. This was simply the warning shot. This was the day Australia realized that Pakistan didn't just have Imran Khan. They had found something else. A left-arm fast bowler who could swing it at will, who thrived on big stages, and who, at 18, showed absolutely no respect for reputation. So, how good was Wasim Akram? Good enough to walk into the Melbourne Cricket Ground as a teenager and leave as the architect of a 62-run demolition. Good enough to rewrite Pakistan's ODI record books before he could legally rent a car in some countries. And scary enough that from that day on, whenever he marked his run-up, batters didn't just see a bowler, they saw the possibility of the stumps cartwheeling behind them. And that, my friends, was only the beginning. So guys, that's it for today's video. If you want to see how good was Wasim Akram or Imran Khan, click on the videos being displayed on your screen.